A week before Michael T. Flynn resigned as National Security Advisor, a sealed proposal was hand-delivered to his office, outlining a way for President Trump to lift sanctions against Russia. Mr. Flynn is gone, having been caught lying about his own discussion of sanctions with the Russian ambassador, but the proposal, a peace plan for Ukraine and Russia, remains, along with those pushing it. Michael T. Cohen, the president's personal lawyer, who delivered the document. Felix H. Satter, a business associate who helped Mr. Trump scout deals in Russia, and a Ukrainian lawmaker trying to rise in a political opposition movement shaped in part by Mr. Trump's former campaign manager Paul Manafort. At a time when Mr. Trump's ties to Russia, and the people connected to him, are under heightened scrutiny, with investigations by American intelligence agencies, the FBI, and Congress, some of his associates remain willing and eager to wade into Russia-related efforts behind the scenes. Mr. Trump has confounded Democrats and Republicans alike with his repeated praise for the Russian President, Vladimir V. Putin, and his desire to forge an American-Russian alliance. While there is nothing illegal about such unofficial efforts, a proposal that seems to tip toward Russian interests may set off alarms. A lot of people will call me a Russian agent, a United States agent, a CIA agent, Mr. Artemenko said. But how can you find a good solution between our countries if we do not talk? Mr. Cohen and Mr. Satter said they had not spoken to Mr. Trump about the proposal, and have no experience in foreign policy. Mr. Cohen is one of several Trump associates under scrutiny in an FBI counterintelligence examination of links with Russia, according to law enforcement officials. He has denied any illicit connections. The two others involved in the effort have somewhat questionable pasts. Mr. Satter, 50, a Russian-American, pleaded guilty to a role in a stock manipulation scheme decades ago that involved the mafia. Mr. Artemenko spent 2.5 years in jail in Kiev in the early 2000s on embezzlement charges, later dropped, which he said had been politically motivated. While it is unclear if the White House will take the proposal seriously, the diplomatic freelancing has infuriated Ukrainian officials. Ukraine's ambassador to the United States, Valery Charly, said Mr. Artemenko is not entitled to present any alternative peace plans on behalf of Ukraine to any foreign government, including the United States administration. At a security conference in Munich on Friday, Mr. Poroshenko warned the West against appeasement of Russia, and some American experts say offering Russia any alternative to a two-year-old international agreement on Ukraine would be a mistake. The Trump administration has sent mixed signals about the conflict in Ukraine. The Ukrainian ambassador, Mr. Charly, rejected a lease of that kind. It is a gross violation of the Constitution, he said in written answers to questions from the Times. Such ideas can be pitched or pushed through only by those openly or covertly representing Russian interests. The reaction suggested why Mr. Artemenko's project also includes the dissemination of compromat, or compromising material, purportedly showing that Mr. Poroshenko and his closest associates are corrupt. Only a new government, presumably one less hostile to Russia, might take up his plan. Mr. Satter, who was born in the Soviet Union and grew up in New York, served as an executive at a firm called Bayrock Group, 2 floors below the Trump Organization in Trump Tower, and was later a senior advisor to Mr. Trump. He said he had been working on a plan for a Trump Tower in Moscow with a Russian real estate developer as recently as the fall of 2015, one that he said had come to a halt because of Mr. Trump's presidential campaign. Mr. Cohen said the Trump Organization had received a letter of intent for a project in Moscow from a Russian real estate developer at that time but determined that the project was not feasible. He said Mr. Satter had given him the written proposal in a sealed envelope. When Mr. Cohen met with Mr. Trump in the Oval Office in early February, he said he left the proposal in Mr. Flynn's office. Mr. Cohen said he was waiting for a response when Mr. Flynn was forced from his post. Now Mr. Cohen, Mr. Satter and Mr. Artemenko are hoping a new national security advisor will take up their cause. On Friday, the president wrote on Twitter that he had 4 new candidates for the job.